Ladies and gentlemen, what is up and welcome to today's video where we're going to be having a little bit of a stroll down nostalgia lane, which is always a very fun place to visit. And we're going to be having a look at my roster and account from the 5-month progression update, which was recorded a year ago yesterday. So we're like, oh, we're pretty much exactly a year ago, but one day off. I wanted to get this video done yesterday, but I got a little bit caught up seeing a few friends yesterday evening, so I did not have time. So I thought, we'd do it today and have a little bit of a look at, some of the champions that I had and decisions I made very early on, and also talk a little bit about the state of the game back then, because a lot has changed. I think this video was recorded when willpower was still really predominant in the game. I don't know if you guys remember, but until the I think it's the middle of last summer, willpower used to, for every debuff, used to heal for 1.5% per debuff of the champion's maximum health, and also it would stack with like multiple buffs and stuff. So if you were, for example, playing an Iron Fist and you had 5 armor breaks on the opponent, that opponent would be healing for 7.5% of their maximum health, like every single second. So it was really ridiculous, that state of the game, and kind of rendered I think there's a good like 30 to 40% of the champions almost completely unplayable due to this in stuff like Alliance War. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird time, and also Perfect Block teams and synergies were very predominant then. I used to use the one with was Double Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, and that was pretty much essential for most of the endgame stuff. But anyway, enough talking about the state of the game there. So these are actually some of the first few champions that I got in the 5 months that I started the game, and this is before I started making YouTube videos. We had a bit of ridiculous luck. One of my first awakened characters, I think it was actually my 3rd or 4th character that I kind of organically awakened, was Scarlet Witch back then, who was, absolutely ridiculous up until about March last year. So we had her at rank 4, and she would just absolutely tear through everything. I also had 4 awakened. Now, having 4 awakened, there was one of the first like offers that I ever brought in the game was actually the awakening gem. They used to do like a random class one for, I think it's like $28.99, and I got that offer, and I got Cosmic Awakening Gem, and 4 was one of the, I think it's like the 12th to 15th 4-star character I pulled. So I used the Cosmic Awakening Gem on him, and then a week later we pulled like a full 4 dupe from like a premium hero crystal. So yeah, it's just always the way when it comes to using Awakening Gems. I always find, apart from the case of Black Widow, I think Black Widow is the only champion that I got awakened via one means or another, and then like didn't pull a full dupe. I still to this day don't think I've pulled a full Black Widow dupe, but she was one of the first, I think like 20 characters to get as a 4-star. So yeah, we had some pretty ridiculous luck from the get-go. Also had the Guillotine up there. I used to use her quite a bit for Alliance Quest, Alliance War, and she's very helpful for my first run of, Realm of Legends back there. We had Ultron up at rank 4. He wasn't awakened, but I think we're still using him occasionally for Alliance Quest. I had the Iron Fist up, although I really enjoyed playing Iron Fist, but he really was not effective in Arena or Alliance War at all. He's really gimp for that, but I love the gameplay of that champion. He was so much fun. And then we had Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen was actually, I believe, the first character that I ever pulled a duplicate of, so that was some insane luck there. And then we got her up to like dupe level 40 quite quickly. Then it was a couple of months before we got her up to dupe level 80, and this week we have pulled 2 Spider-Gwen, so that's been pretty fantastic. Also had yeah, Rocket Raccoon, Black Widow, Vision, who I think I pulled a Vision initially from a premium, and then got him from like a 4-star shortly after to awaken him, so that was pretty decent there for the most part. Really awesome stuff. And then kind of moving down a little bit on the roster, we had Deadpool X-Force, Storm for Jane Foster, Yellow Jacket, Captain America World War II. I think one of the champions that I took up very shortly after this video was Cap World War II, and he made it to rank 5 like I think a couple of months after this video, once we had done what was it, Act 4 for 100%, so he was very, very useful for all that stuff. And then moving on to my 5-star champions back then. So the first ever 5-star I got was Magic, and this was back when Magic was actually a really, really like mediocre champion. She didn't really have much going for her. I think she was like the second worst 5-star to pull at the time, because it was toward the end of the summer that Magic, Electra, Rhino, and a few other champions got buffed. So yeah, at the time of like opening my first ever 5-star crystal, there were only 12 champions, and Magic was one of the worst options, but then she got buffed to become one of the best options. So yeah, that kind of oddly worked out in my favor, so that was pretty decent for the most part. And then the second 5-star champion we ever pulled was Storm. Then I think the third one after that we pulled a Star-Lord. And then we did Act 4 100%, and then we pulled another Storm. So Storm was my first Awakened 5-star. It's a pretty crazy crystal opening, actually. I do remember that one, because we got a 4-star Storm from the 4-star crystal, and then we did a 5-star one, like, in the same video, and then we got a Storm from that as well. So yeah, it was a little bit weird pulling 2 Storms back-to-back, so I was pretty happy about that. We took Storm to rank 3 shortly after, but I took her down with the last patch, just because there were so many, like, crazy god-tier mutants with, like Archangel and Iceman being added. That was like, Storm, she's pretty good, but you know, we're gonna use those resources for a slightly different character. In terms of 3-stars that I took up around that time, I only had 10 maxed out 3-stars then. I took up Electro. I really liked playing Electro at this point in the game. I was like, he's one of my most like favorite characters, a lot of fun to play. He still is to a certain extent. I really liked his animations though, but you know, he's not anything crazy OP. We had the 3-star Star-Lord up. That was the character that I first used for my Realm of Legends run, because I didn't have the Awakened Scarlet Witch at the time, so we did it with the 3-star Star-Lord. Agent Venom, I'm not really too sure why I took him up quickly. I think I just quite liked the character, and he was pretty new. Scarlet Witch, she was just crazy OP as a 3-star. X-23, loved playing X-23, one of my favorite champions to play back then. I had my Iron Man, I think he's one of my first like 3-star characters to have Awakened, and I remember using him quite early on for the regeneration, until I got my Doctor Strange. And then we used Doctor Strange for a lot of story content, like beating Thanos for the first time. So that felt pretty good. Like, even from, like, some of the early days, I really did have, like, some insane luck from a beginner, guys. Like, this, I feel like there's sometimes, you know, there are a lot of Kabam CEO comments, but there's always been a little bit of odd juice now and again in my account. Like, we have some weeks and months where just everything goes absolutely ridiculous in terms of luck and seems to fall in my favor, and we're really much in a phase like that at the moment, so it's a little bit odd, but very cool as well. Then we got Nightcrawler, who I didn't have Awakened yet, but I got him from, like, I think it was one of the first ever featured crystal openings I did on the channel. We pulled a 3-star Nightcrawler, and yeah, I loved playing Nightcrawler when he came out, so we got him maxed up pretty quick. But yeah, that was pretty much it for my maxed out 3-stars then. I mean, who else would have been really good at the time to take up as a 3-star? I can't really think. I think I had most of, like, I had a general, like, good direction of who was decent to take up, and a fairly good understanding from that. Maybe could have taken the Deadpool up as well, just for his regeneration, but I think we pretty much had everything we needed at that point in time, so it made sense a little bit more to focus on 4-stars. Then scrolling down, nobody of particular interest there, really. Just taking a few characters up to a certain threshold, I think, to start building a few more, like, infinite streaks in Arena and getting some points up there. We also had, what was it, the 3-star Spider-Gwen. She wasn't maxed out toward the bottom of the roster, but, hey, can I find that? Yeah, bottom of the roster. Like, we didn't have an insane amount of 3-star champions. Like, it's pretty crazy how quickly the collection grows and spirals. I think that's one of the things that, you know, just to impart onto any beginners and players that are currently growing their roster, just like once you start pulling more and more champions and just keep on getting these duplicates, and the shards just keep on flooding in from, you know, all the duplicates that you're getting, and then you get some champions to dupe level 99, it just increases so much more and more, and allows you to get champions quicker and quicker. So that's why, you know, for a lot of the players you see at endgame, this is why I can get, like, 4-star crystals, like, insanely really fast just by playing the game and like duping a load of characters and doing all of the stuff and things. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the roster. So that's a little bit of a look at exactly where we're at. It's crazy to think that this was only a year ago. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, if you want to make this transition from this roster to this roster, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is like dedicate your entire life to playing Marvel Contest of Champions and do it on YouTube. Buy any offer that's like pretty good, and also kind of spend any money whenever you're peer pressured into kind of any new challenge by subscribers, and doing stuff like Labyrinth of Legends on live stream. So yeah, it's pretty easy to kind of make the transition from A to B, you know, if you kind of spend all your time and like a decent chunk of money on Marvel Contest of Champions. So that's my kind of advice for newer players. But in all seriousness, like a huge part of this game is just staying in a very active alliance and making sure you're doing all the Alliance Quest, Alliance War stuff, and also wherever you can, jumping into Arena, getting as many free rewards as possible on a weekly basis, like maximizing the amount of premiums, the amount of shards you can get, and picking up every single new character that you don't have. It's, you know, it's a hell of a grind to get from A to B, but, you know, those are just generally like some fairly straightforward tips for you know, getting from A to B for the most part. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this look back at my roster a year ago. I think one of the things also we'll just quickly talk about is bedroom seating, guys. If you are part of the OG squad, if you're watching the videos about, say it's about 9 months ago, I used to record all of my videos. We used to have the setup in the bedroom. So yeah, we have a lovely backdrop of my bed, my dressing gown on the door there, some weights in the background. Not that we ever, you know, lift weights, guys, but I like to kind of keep them in my room so that, you know, if people like come over, they might be like, oh, maybe Callum does some exercise now and again, or Seatin does some exercise. But yeah, it's just for show, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, there is nothing going on in these 2 wet noodles that I have beside my body. But yeah, apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the video. It's been a crazy 12 months of progress. I don't know, maybe I might look back on this video or kind of my 17-month progression if we are still playing next summer and just, you know, see where we're at. It's crazy. Like, we only had, I believe, 115k rating. So yeah, we've gained 305k in the year, which is absolutely astronomical. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.